As you can see, I've got 5 watches in front of me, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for another haul video. So in this collection, these are the ultra budget watches, costing from $35 to $70. In fact, one of these watches is my daily wearer for the last 2.5 weeks, and I've got no intention of selling it whatsoever. 4 of these watches feature sapphire crystal, 2 are automatics, 1 is a chronograph, and 1 is a California dial. There's a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's jump in. But just so you know, the affiliate links to all of these watches are in the description below the video, so do check them out if you're after some sharp prices. Let's get in and talk about these watches in detail. First up is the Addiesdive AD2054, and it is a thought follower from the MYH3, a $35 bombshell following a subby-inspired look with a typical wide stance, brushed surfaces mixed in with the polished tall flanks. For $35 we get a 3-link brushed 316L stainless steel bracelet. The case is also solid stainless steel. Considering a screw-in crown and the screw-down case back, the timepiece features 200 meters of water resistance. The crystal is mineral glass with a mineral glass cyclops over the date window at 3 o'clock. The magnification is about ×2, not the standard setting 2.5 times. But the mineral crystal is actually coated with blue anti-reflective film. With regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 40.8 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 53.1 millimeters due to the protruding male end links. We get a height of 13 millimeters without the cyclops, 14.5 with it. We get a lug width of 20 millimeters, tapering down to 18 millimeters at the clasp, and a weight of 165 grams. Once again, $35 for this piece is unbelievable value. This is an Addiesdive, hence luminosity is usually better than on the renders, and powered by a Quartz, specifically the Miyota 2115. The bracelet is held by push pins. Tolerances are decent, not San Martin quality, but then it does cost at least 5 times cheaper than any San Martin. Link articulation and fluidity aren't compromised, so really good here. The double pusher clasp gets 3 micro adjustments and a pressed wing. Following the gaze down the inverted and deep rehaut, we face a matte blue dial, perfectly matching the matte blue of the ceramic bezel insert. The beige indices provide plenty of contrast. I love the simplicity and well-balanced dial. With regards to the lume, it really doesn't match the super low price. Bright green light lasts for hours, so easily for the full night. Bezel action is muted, but surprisingly quite accurate with minimal backplay. The Cadisen C8230 is the most expensive in this collection, $70. But is it worth it? Definitely. Let me show you why. This is a brand new model for Cadisen in 2024. It offers a unique design and several complications, making it stand out from the rest. This is a 39mm diameter piece, 120 click unidirectional bezel and a screw-in crown at 4 o'clock. Powered by Seiko NH35, there are just 2 dial colors available, the grey or the silver grey, as well as the blue. Obviously, I prefer blue, so here it is. The sapphire crystal covering the dial is actually anti-reflective treated, meaning legibility is superb. I also like the slanted deep rehaut leading down to the dial. The date window at 3 o'clock is neat, keeping the dial clean and uncluttered. The lattice 5-link stainless steel bracelet is another perk on the watch. Just look at the light play on the angles and facets. The clasp is signed and the folding wing is milled. I can feel that I'm falling in love with this piece. The steel 120 click bezel is so precise, the rotation action is smooth and consistent, the sound is like a safe code, so methodical and crafty. The case appears to be chiseled out of a solid steel bullion, yet elegance is everywhere. Looking at the profile, we have a gentle curve arching down at the lugs. The lattice bracelet meets the head seamlessly, and the inverted end links provide a modest 46mm lug-to-lug length is just too good. The deep blue of the dial is further accented by prominent sunburst effect. This is quite something, an elegant brute of a diver, loomed elements on the rehaut, the hands, and a striking bold pip on the steel bezel. For number 3, we're gonna welcome a really budget Grand Seiko homage. It's just too good. For 50 bucks, we are getting so much of a dress watch, so much of a sport watch, and so much of just classic chic design. Let me tell you about this watch. The first bonus on this watch is a boxed sapphire crystal. It's prominent and tall, not vintage, just tall enough to be considered classy. The crystal quality is very good. There are hardly any edge distortions. The mix of brushed and polished surfaces creates joyful light play, not overwhelming and blingy, but interesting and captivating. Of course, we get a screw-in crown, medium size with fine notchy threading. The screw-down case back gets a fluted decoration, and I love it. This watch is all about classic looks. A fully stainless steel construction, including a 3-link brush bracelet. The end links are inverted, the clasp is signed, and even gets 5 micro adjustments. The folding wing is also milled. The dimensions require specific mentioning. We get a diameter of 37mm, a lug-to-lug length of just 46mm, a height of 11.2, a lug width of 19mm at the head, and tapering down to 16 at the clasp. The weight on this piece is 130 grams without removing any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. The watch overall is very sturdy, yet the elegance is undeniable. The yellow hue of the dial is radiating class we often lose out on with many micro brands doing too much of the overwhelming extras. The piece is also powered by Seiko's VH31, a sweeping seconds hand, pulsing at 4 beats per second, hence mimicking the automatic sweep of the seconds hand. For number 4, we've got the Addiesdive AD2034 for $60, and this is the Chrono Panda Mecha Quartz with 0.2 seconds precision. One more symbolic watch, yet for those preferring larger timepieces, because the dimensions here give us a diameter of 42mm. A lug-to-lug length though is just 48mm due to the inverted end links. We get a height of 15.2mm, a lug width of 20mm, but the bracelet tapers down to 16 at the clasp, and a weight of 160 grams before removing any links to fit my wrist. A slightly boxy sapphire crystal protrudes above the 120-click ceramic bezel insert. It's also domed for the retro distortions when looking at the dial from an angle. The tall coin-like threading of the bezel are brushed and notchy, making rotation an easy endeavor. The bezel is quite narrow, opening up to the large and open Panda dial, featuring a matte black canvas with 2 silver subdials, the 0 to 60 minute counter and the 24-hour subdial. This is a 200-meter water-resistant watch. The screw-in crown is significant and large, standing tall at 7mm in diameter, flanked by the chronograph pushers. Looking at the profile, we can see the severe arching of the flank. The lug tips slant downwards aggressively. The 5-link bracelet features 2 threads of polished links and 3 brushed. Considering the tapering of 20mm at the head to 16 at the clasp, it is an elegant-looking setup. The clasp is signed and the fold-over wing is milled. And best for last, well, that's what I think, because this is the Tandorio for $45 that I've been wearing for the last 2.5 weeks or somewhere around that. This watch is great, and it's not just the value that I love here, although that as well, but it's the looks and the features that we get here. It's just unbelievable. Let me tell you about it. The watch case gets a completely brushed look. The somber and strict styling with perfect symmetry is a look of vintage asceticism. The 7.4mm diameter crown makes rotation easy but almost unnecessary considering the accuracy of the NH35 self-winding automatic movement. If you've been watching the WesWatches channel, you'll know I have a soft spot for California dials. We get just that under a domed sapphire crystal. Not boxed, just heavily single-domed to give some weirdly awesome distortions when looking from the side. Having a case width of 38mm and a lug-to-lug length of 49mm, I love the way it sits on my 6.5-inch wrist. The standard rubber strap is robust and comfortable. Potentially replacing it is an option, but I do shower with the watch on the wrist occasionally, hence the rubber strap suits my lifestyle. We do get 200 meters of water resistance with this Tandorio, so that is warranted by the screw-in crown as well as a screwed case back. And the lume on here lasts the night easily. The best $45 I've ever spent, really. So here we go. 5 ultra budget watches. 35 to 70 bucks. All of them are super special. Yeah, and of course the Tandorio being my favorite. California dial, self-winding automatic for $45. That is like truly unbelievable. Although that first Addiesdive for $35, that is special as well. But it's mineral crystal. Anyways, now that I've told you about these watches, do remember that the affiliate links are in the description below the video, so check them out if you're after some sharp prices. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.